and I'm struggling all my life. And I think it was so to make a film about that and about this is a great privilege. It's a great privilege for me, and I think is the subject matter that I wanted to talk about.
And you wrote this screenplay before bringing in the other writers that are credited. You started it first. Right?
Yes, I wrote a first draft, and then I used to collaborate in the screenplay process, and I wanted to bring somebody because it's a very lonely process, and I enjoy a lot when I really, chasing ideas. So I invite Armando Bo and Nicolás Giacoboni, it was her first experience doing this, and it was fantastic. It really, really helped me a lot, and it was a fantastic collaboration.
Wow. Now, you shot this in Spain, in Barcelona, even though it's up for Mexico in the foreign language film, obviously, because of you, I think, as the director. But you shot it in Spain. Why Barcelona? What about that whole location made it the right place for this?
Basically, I thought that I wrote the script with Javier Bardem in mind. And once he accepted, and it was very risky because I wrote it with him in my mind, knowing that he would be the best guy to make this role, and I was not wrong. But he could have been rejected, you know what I mean? So fortunately, he accepted, and poor guy, how he suffered.
Wow.
It was funny because he was very close to accept Nine, the film Nine. He was
the musical.
The musical. He was invited for. He was chased for 1 year, to do that. And the same day he has to decide yes or not on Nine or Beautiful. And then he decides Beautiful. And instead to be surrounded by 8 beautiful women, the poor guy was dying in the streets of Barcelona, smelling shit, So anyway, the reason I shot it in Barcelona was because he's from Spain. I thought that was a natural decision. And for me, it was an opportunity to share, because we share the same language, we speak Castellano, Spanish, and it was a great return for me to do a film in Spanish and reveal some aspect of the first world weaknesses, that are not very widely exposed, talking about immigration. So it was a great opportunity for me to talk about that.
So interesting, too, the cast, beyond Javier Bardem, a lot of them aren't total professionals. I want to thank, what's her name? Diarilu? Diarilu, okay, Daff. What's her story? Because it's almost like it's her own story in some ways, right?
Yeah, it was. I had a.
Oh, she played
Ige.
Yeah.
Ige, the African woman. Basically, there's a huge Senegalese community in Barcelona, and as you know, every day you read about these people that really doesn't make it to arrive to Las Islas Canarias, and they die in the sea. And she came like that, and she had a 3-year-old boy that she hasn't seen it in 5 years. She maintained like 36 people working as a hairdresser, making these kind of things, the hair in Madrid. So we cast like 1,000 people to find her. And you could have seen the faces of the girls that didn't get the role when they were advised. They really need the work. And I was very happy that I was able to do a lot of research with these communities, with the way they live, the way, the surviving kind of things, all the piracy, how they deal with the police, all the Chinese kind of factories. We went to 2 rights to get all these people that slaved them. It was really interesting to go and discover all of that. But after 1,000 people, Diaritu appeared, and she was just so brutally in the moment that I was like, wow. She has never seen a camera in her life, but when I began to scratch her personal life, it was incredibly similar to this woman. So I mean, it's incredible. So she was really related emotionally to her, and I have to say that what happened to her, just a little anecdote. For example, it was that we got her some permits to work, and she was so happy. And the papers should have been, she has to do that in Senegal, but we were shooting. So she sent her sister to get the papers, but the sister did a trick, something wrong, and she was caught, and then they denied to her the papers to work. And we were in the most toughest moments of the film emotionally. And she just got into a huge depression personally. She didn't want to go out of the apartment. She has some professional help because she knew that she was losing her life, and she will never be able to work, and she will have to be deported, and then the family will be starving. It was a very dramatic thing happening inside. Probably that will come a little thing maybe in a little making of that we're doing, because it was really moving to see her how reality and fiction were basically dancing together as I have never been in my life. So her character was really truthful to what her private life was, you know. And she did an amazing work.
Oh, it's extraordinary. And I think the film, I have to ask you, does she come back? She must come back.
Yes, I hope. I don't know how many people of you understand that she came back at the end. Can you raise the hand?
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yes. Okay, good.
Great. Because I was worried, because in some screenings sometimes people doesn't understand that. Say, well, I think he is an hallucination of him, or not. I think for me it's very important that people understand that she returned, because I will never shoot something like that. It will be, I should be in jail if that doesn't happen.
Because ultimately this film does have hope, you know, and I think that's an important thing about it.
That's for me is very important. Even in these incredible tough circumstances, for me, what I want to show this is a tragedy, and this is a general tragedy, and that's the rules of the game. And there's no concessions in that. I mean, I didn't allow myself to suddenly surrender and say, well, no. I think, yeah, the end is tough because life, we will finish. I cannot shape that. I cannot pasteurize that. But at least I think there's something and hope in the way he understood and the meaning of his own life, the way he took control of his life in a way to share that life, the last days that he has, fixing all things, understanding and surrender to others, and she, the woman, the African woman, is Mama Africa. So, I mean, it's just what I see about it. I mean, I think that the way that novelty exists all around our, you know, whatever around us, there's a lot of amazing, great things, you know, to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly. Now, well, this is a big house. There's a lot of people here tonight. So, do you have any questions? There's got to be some right here. Yeah, right there.
I wanted to ask, how careful did you have to be to approach not only Javier, but the whole cast when getting what you want, but also letting them go through their process, their acting process?
Okay, basically he's asking how careful you had to be in essentially directing Javier and the cast in getting what you needed, but giving them their own freedom and their own space to work on their characters.
Yeah, I think it's a process that sometimes you have to control everything because there's precision in things that you know. I'm very precise with the blocking, I have to say. I'm very good at it. I mean, I know even when I'm writing how the guys will be. If they, I used to have a theater teacher that was a genius. It was Ludwig Margulis, that he has just recently died. That's where I studied 3 years with him. The theater director. He was a genius, but he always said, he always was smoking his pipe. Oh, you have to think when you arrive to a set, the guys should be sitting. You have to have the main questions of a director. Your actor should be sitting, lying down, or standing up. That's the main question. And it's fucking true. So, I mean, I have to say that if you suddenly commit a mistake there and you see somebody delivering a line that he's sitting, it doesn't belong to be sitting. There's something physically that happened that everything is screwed. Anyway, so the blocking and how he will be looking at the window, he will cross in this word, I want you to go to from the sink, to wash your hands here, and then to put this, and you can be throwing things away. All those things try to be very precise, because I want, as more I can liberate actors from physical conscious and liberate them of being creative in the dialogue. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, because then if they want to be creative and genius every time, then they begin to be not concentrating what's the emotional objective of the scene. And that's what I'm interested. I don't care what an actor said. There's a lot of people that prize a lot the dialogues and the great scenes, the tendency of prize actors who really spoke, oh my God, what a great dialogue. I don't care about that. You know, I love non-verbal performance, which is, I think, what Javier do, that with little words, it's a lot of things by little details that is telling you a lot, the physical kind of thing. So what I'm trying to liberate actors is about, don't be creative with dialogue, that's my work. Don't be creative with, if I should move strangely things, no. Just get concentrated in the emotional and your objective, what you are trying to achieve here, what it's about, what this guy wants. And then how he's going to achieve it, there's 1,000 things. You concentrate in that, and I'm taking care of the other. That's kind of the way I work, you know, and it has worked, you know, until now.
Yes.
Why were the two Chinese men that Oxball worked with, why were they gay? Like, what was the point of that?
Why were the two Chinese men gay?
Yeah, what was the point of that?
Okay, what was the point of that?
It's exactly because you're asking that, you know, because we are not conceiving Chinese workers as possible gays, because not. Because what I mean, because, I mean, my point was, for me, always, and I don't know if I achieved it honestly, but my intention was, because there was a couple of things that I had to look at, but I wanted to give, first of all, I want the immigrants, I would say, the secondary characters, the African characters. I didn't want to victimize them. I didn't want to say, oh my God, poor guys, they are victims of society and capitalism. Or I didn't want to punish them or sanctify them. You know what I mean? I just want those characters to integrate it in the fabric of the film, having exactly the same problem as the main character. Basically, for me, the African and the Chinese were people who has a life, a very complex life, as complex as anybody, with love relations, with sex tastes, whatever. They have a family. The Chinese guy, he's not a bad guy, you know, smoking tobacco. No, he has a family. He has some kids. He has a little old father. He just had to feed his family, and that's the way he found it. And because that's the reality that I found when I interviewed all these Chinese people that were, I went with the policemen, with the police in Catalonia to get in these factories to people who really, and you interview them, they didn't thought that they were doing bad things. They actually, very truthfully, they thought that they were helping their own people. Because as the character said, in China, they get $1 a day. We pay him $4 here. You know what I mean? And if you ask the guys that are working, they say, yes, these guys are gods for us. So it's very complex. It's not a bad and wrong. What I wanted it was to, with little traces, in the painting, with little hints, just to get that these guys are three-dimensional and they are not the bad Chinese guys. And that's why I want to break the paradigm of Chinese workers gays. Yes, it is. There's a lot, and why not? You know what I mean? That's why.
Okay, yeah, someone up there. Yeah, right up there. Yeah. You. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed the movie so very much. But I wanted to ask, what was the owl about?
What was the owl about? She wants to know.
Honestly, I don't know. No, the thing is, once I was walking with my daughter, and my daughter told me that if I knew that the owls, when they die, they do this hair ball from the pig, and I was like, wow, really? And it's true. They just do that before they die. And I thought it was a very powerful image that stayed with me in a way. And I couldn't shake it. And then when I was writing the script, I thought that was a very great, for me, a kind of an image, a symbol that is kind of what this guy, for me, Usbal, do before he died. He just basically desintoxicate himself of all shit that he has been doing. You know what I mean? And that for me was a very, you know, something anybody can take it the way they want. You know what I mean? But for me, that was an image that helped me to blend the transition to life and death, you know, that thought, and make the transition of this guy about something that is a metaphor, you know, that means, at least for me, something. And it's weird, in a way, like a dream. It's very weird, that image.
Okay, right here. He noticed the 2 aspect ratios. Very good.
Where you read it? Or you noticed it?
I didn't notice. I read it before.
Oh, okay. No, because it's really busy. Well, there's basically the question is why change the image ratio, which is the film starts in the format, which is 185, kind of more square, which is more kind of the real kind of thing. And then there's another ratio, which is obviously it's a little more horizontal, which is 235, which is larger horizontally, and it's more aesthetic. It's used normally for more kind of landscapes and things like that. It's more aesthetical in a way. And I changed it in a point. You never notice it, I guess. But I changed it because the idea behind that was, for me, this guy thinks that control everything, and everybody controls him in a way. He depends in the black and in the Chinese people, but they depend in them. So he controls his family. He controls the way the kids eats. He controls the way he dresses. It's like, oh, everything is tight. He lives like that. And once he got the news, he will die. And little by little, he began to understand and surrender to his destiny. In a way, in a strange way, he began to get wiser and more profound. And he began to relax in a way. He began to surrender, yes, and through compassion and love. And he changed. So I mark a lot of elements that will help people. That's my theory. Maybe I didn't actually, but that's the way I work. I want to, you don't have to be aware of that, but all the decisions in camera, art direction, light, color of light, performance, movement of camera, and even ratio, are navigating from tight and long lens to wider lens, less shaking camera, the wardrobe, and then he ended up even in pants, and he felt more suit, even the wardrobe is more about cotton, and he's just nicer in a way. And the ratio, I changed it because I feel that he learned to see life in a bigger scale, in a larger palette, and it feels just more breathe, more, and then at the end, obviously the forest and everything is just more expand. Yeah, so. Oh my God, I shoot a lot of tests, a lot of quality of the film to choose the stock, and then to make the test how it's going to look, the change, and not distract the people. Yeah, it's a lot of tests. And then in the DVDs, it's a mess because it's very tricky to do it. Yeah, it's a nightmare technically. It is such a stupid thing, but it really takes a lot of things. No, and you should not notice. That's the trick. There's a lot of things that people should not notice, but there's a lot of. It's very designed, the whole thing.
All right. Well, good luck. Right over here. Yeah.
I'm just curious. For you personally, did you experience a death or a loss at a young age that really significantly kind of scarred you or inspired this film?
What inspired the film?
Or if you experienced death or loss.
Oh, if you
at a young
experienced
age.
death or loss, or was there one incident in your own life that specifically inspired it?
Yes, I think I have had people that I have lost that I really like, but especially I lost a kid before I did 21 grams. So it was dedicated, so yeah. So it's I have experienced one of the most difficult process that any human being can be in. Yeah, it's hard, really tough.
And you, right there, yeah. Go
I
ahead.
really enjoyed the music in the film.
Yeah.
You have both traditional scoring and then also some kind of fairly atonal sound collages for transitions. I just was hoping if you would talk a little bit about scoring the film.
Talk about the scoring of the film.
It was a very difficult score to get this time because I thought and I wanted to try in the beginning a more traditional way to approach this with piano and chords and things. So Gustavo Santolaya and one guy that is called Osvaldo Borijov, which is an amazing composer. They did some pieces, but when I put it in the screen, it didn't work, and they were fantastic. By the way, it's gonna come a CD that is gonna be beautiful, and then it's a double CD. The other CD will be almost beautiful, which is all the pieces that were composed that didn't make it, but they were fantastic. I have to say that in that CD, you will hear pieces that were better than the ones that ended up, but funny enough, when you put it with the screen, it was horrible. It just made it very ordinary. It just, you know what I mean? The problem with piano and violins is they are so much used that they use sound as every film in a way that I don't like it. And then those same pieces, I send it to a guy that is in Uruguay, and that is a guy that's called Santiago Sebastián Escofet, and he's a master of decomposed classical pieces. And so he did this exercise with electronic kind of things and kind of Brian Eno kind of things. So, but I put it in the screen, didn't work. And then I finished the editing literally. And then Gustavo said, well, let's do something more straight. He did something and didn't work. We were really desperate. So then Gustavo flew again. And by the way, I skip a part. We record with African people in Spain, Chinese, flamenco, a lot of things just to have like some bass textures. Nothing was working in a strange way. And then desperately he flew with Aníbal Kerto, his partner. We locked ourselves for 4 days only because I didn't have any money. And in 4 days, everything was done. And it was just from desperation. Literally, it came what you hear here, which I'm very happy. And we bring some marimba, and even Gustavo and I play the marimba in one or two pieces here. And it was like desperation, 24 hours, 3-4 days to get these, you know, again, very Santolaya, heartfelt, miniature things, but I'm very happy. But it was difficult, very difficult to find the voice this time.
Okay, this guy has had his hand up for 10 minutes, so you go.
Alejandro, congratulations. I want to ask you, how do you feel now that the movie opens here and with the Oscar nomination, what this means for you?
The nominations.
And the fact that the movie is opened here in this country, you mean? Okay, and then the nominations. This was not an easy movie to sell, get a United States distributor.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, well, the nomination first always, always great, and they give you a justification to get drunk, seriously. So nobody can punish you about that. So that's a good news to have. And always for me, the nominations and all these parties and the Oscars, fortunately every film has been, Amores Perros was nominated, and I remember Vinicio and Naomi were nominated 21 Grams. In Babel we got 7 nominations. But always those moments have been I always call the loser's party, because always I'm a loser, and I get used to, and when you are losing, a loser there, you feel more free. Nobody is chasing you, so you get drunk deliciously anonymous. Nobody bothers. So I love that. Javier Bardem and I met in the losers party that's the way I met him, in the losers party of Amores Perros. And he has a losers party too with Before Night Fall. So we were the most happy losers in the world. And yesterday we were remembering that thing. So that's the nominations for me means that, okay, to lose. To lose around great winners, anyway. The other thing is, in the United States, it's today the opening, and it's very exciting. I'm very curious about how the film really works here. It was very difficult, as Pete says, the distribution. The film was basically sold around the world before it started screening even in Cannes. But the only resisting country was here. And it took like 4 months to really find a brave, incredible distributor, which is Roadside Attractions, who really were brave enough to buy it, believe in it. And the nominations for me, it was great for them too, because it helped to make more awareness to the people that believe. And it's unfortunately, audiences has not been cultivated in the last years to see foreign language films, unfortunately, because there are great pieces, masterpieces, and people in the United States is unfortunately not able to watch that and have the opportunity to watch that, and the students, you know what I mean? So it's a shame. So I'm very happy. I hope, I cross my fingers that it works a little bit and encourage more people to bring subtitled films, you know.
It works. It works.
It works. All right. And on that note, because there's another show coming in here, we don't have any more time. I know, it's sad. And Alejandro actually has to go somewhere now, so I'm going to thank him and let him go, and then you guys connect it. So thank you very much, Alejandro.
Thank you.